Elon Musk personally requested to meet you. Open immediately. There are ordinary messages, the ones that come and go, lost in the endless scroll. And then there's this. You don't just stumble across it. You arrive. At this very second, fate feels like it's playing a prank, right? A notification you never expected: Elon Musk wants to meet you. Open immediately. It's surreal, maybe even ridiculous, until you realize there's no such thing as an accident in a universe built on possibility. And yet, here you are. One click brought you to a doorway most people never see. Not just a chance, but an invitation. Not just anyone, but the iconoclast himself, Elon Musk, the guy who launches rockets for breakfast, who gambles everything on a dream, who rewrites the definition of impossible before most of us have finished our coffee. You have to wonder, why you? Out of 7 billion? Why would he want to meet you? You, sitting where you are, just watching like any other night. But lean in for a second, listen closer, because this isn't a mistake. It's not a marketing trick. It's not an illusion. It's a moment that only a tiny, lucky group will ever get. This is for the ones who are curious enough to open, hopeful or even bold enough to stay, and brave enough to ask, what if this is real? Maybe your heart skips a beat. Maybe you roll your eyes and smirk. Sure, why not meet Elon Musk tonight? But before you decide, give yourself permission to feel that electric ripple, that spine-tingling, dream-making flutter. Because every story that ever changed a life started with a moment exactly like this, the moment when something totally wild arrived and the world paused for breath. So I want you to pause too. Pause right now. Feel the silence around you. The traffic stops, the music dims, a presence in your room, in your car, wherever you are listening. Everything else can wait. Because this is not just another distraction. This is not a meme. This is the one message you'll remember years from now, maybe even the story you tell when somebody asks how it all began. Elon Musk. Personally. Requested you. It sounds impossible, but think, hasn't Musk's whole existence been a running war with impossible? First principles thinking. Asking the questions nobody else even dared. Daring to hear an invitation when everyone else only saw noise. He didn't wait for someone else's approval, he wrote his own invitations. He built doors when there were only walls. Can you feel the weight of that, just for this second? Out of all the seconds in your whole life, this is the one where everything could pivot. Because nothing ever starts huge. It starts like this: one strange message, one unexpected door, one impulse you almost ignored. That's how all adventure begins. Not with certainty. Not with a guarantee. But with a dare. Are you willing to see what's on the other side? Right now, as you listen, you might be thinking of your regular life, tomorrow's routine, the to-do list, the 1,000 little distractions aimed at pulling your focus back. Ignore them for just a few heartbeats. Nothing is more important than this split-second choice. Will you step forward, as if this opportunity actually has your name on it? Or will you watch it fade, and spend forever wondering what might have been? Because here's the hard, unusual truth: most people don't need more advice. They don't need more secret formulas. They just need a window, a single surprising signal that maybe, just maybe, the universe remembers they exist. That their story could still pivot. Most people crave a sign they matter. Tonight, this feeling, this invitation, is yours. If Elon Musk showed up in every living room, shook every hand, the world would never be the same. But that's the magic, he doesn't have to. Instead, a select flood of messages are sent, coded not in binary or Morse, but in attention, in willingness, in persistence. Call it algorithmic fate, or kismet, or quantum odds, whatever it is, it brought you here and not somebody else. Let that sink in. What if this is more than a message? What if it's a test, the kind that separates the passive from the extraordinary? What if just opening it, just being present, already sets you apart? Because if Elon Musk asked to see you, he wouldn't want you because you have answers. He'd want you because you ask questions, because you refuse to settle for someone else's version of possible. Pause with me again. Do you feel it? A gentle panic, maybe, in your chest, a feeling you can't quite name. That's energy. That's awareness. That's not noise, that's the universe knocking at your door. Elon's never chased the crowd. He's never waited for someone else to lead. He's always chosen the uncertain, the risky, the path nobody else claimed. And now, in this weird, digital moment, you're at your crossroad too. What happens if you don't open the next door? What's the cost of staying the same? How many more years will you spend waiting, deferring, wishing for an invitation that actually, right this second, is already here? You opened the message. You stayed. And already, you're in the rarest kind of company, the few who were present enough to notice, engaged enough to wonder, nervous enough to hope. How you feel right now? That's the start of every transformation the world has ever seen. So here's your choice. Do you close the tab? Do you brush this off, let doubt win, and bury the possibility that tonight was less random, more destined? Or do you stand up, open your eyes, tell yourself that if Elon Musk was crazy enough to believe he could launch rockets to Mars, then maybe you're wild enough to see how far this night will take you? Take a slow breath, feel the moment expand. You are not here by accident. You are not ordinary. And the invitation is still open, right now. Still here. You clicked, you waited, you didn't just laugh it off and scroll by. That matters. It matters more than you know. Because this is the moment almost nobody notices until it's gone. The difference between the you who keeps orbiting around the same goals, and the you who finally breaks through gravity. Let's face it, most people wake up, check their notifications, and want to matter. They want to be seen, to be chosen, to be picked out of the noise. But they're waiting for some thunderous, cinematic sign, fireworks in the sky. They never realize that most invitations come in as a whisper, a nudge, a gentle pull, maybe just a weird message like this one. Why did you open it? Was it curiosity? Boredom? Hope? It honestly doesn't matter, because whether you realize it or not, something in you is still alive, still reaching for something extraordinary. That's why you didn't look away. You can call it fate, or algorithm, or just a flicker in your intuition, but here's what the world's boldest minds have in common: they answer when inspiration knocks, no matter how strange it looks. Let's dig a little deeper. If you got a real meeting request from Elon Musk, think about it in detail. What would cross your mind? Would your stomach drop? Would your hands sweat? What would you ask? How would you even prepare? Chances are, your first reaction would be disbelief. Your second might be fear. Your third, that flicker of impossible hope. But that progression? That's what true invitations always feel like. You question your worth, your readiness, your place at the table. That's the exact fire Musk looks for, not false confidence, but courage trembling on the edge of uncertainty. Because you can't fake being ready for something that truly matters, you can only show up anyway. Pause, let reality blur for a second. Everyone wonders how titans like Elon Musk think, how they make decisions, how they risk more in a week than most do in a lifetime. But it all comes down to moments like this, moments that seem too small to change your story, but too wild to ignore. The bravest thing you can do isn't to plan every answer, but to show up open, to meet the future with questions. Let's imagine the room. Not a boardroom, not a tech summit, a simple, unlit office after hours. Nobody else around. Just you and someone whose vision is so big, it pulls the future forward. He says your name, and suddenly you realize, this meeting isn't about what you already know. It's about what you hunger to discover. He wants to see if you're awake enough to challenge yourself, if you can see possibilities where most see problems. Here's the raw truth that every bold creator knows: comfort is the enemy of greatness. Musk never built a rocket because he was ready. He risked ridicule, bankruptcy, even total career collapse, because he couldn't bear to live without chasing what might exist beyond today. So as you listen to this, as you picture that meeting, you're standing on the edge of your own version of history. The choice looks tiny, but it echoes. Will you rehearse all the reasons you can't, or will you walk in, unprepared but curious, knowing that the only way to learn is to leap? Let's add another detail. Elon looks at you, really looks, and it isn't admiration or awe. It's expectation. It's the silent challenge: show me something real. He doesn't care about perfect resumes, flawless plans, or memorized answers. He cares about what's buried under the fear, what's alive after every excuse runs out. You might feel your pulse spiking right now. That's not a sign you're wrong for the moment. It's proof you're in exactly the right place. Fear is a compass. The door between your current life and the life you want never opens until you feel that panic, that burning mix of what if and what now. Let's contrast two futures. In the first, you walk away, you decide the message was a joke, or a mistake, or not really for you. You tell yourself it didn't matter, even as you feel it echoing for days, months, years. The second? You say yes to the discomfort. You honor the mystery. You let yourself believe the crazy possibility that sometimes, just sometimes, you do get picked by possibility itself. Which will you choose? Which story are you scripting for the person you'll be tomorrow? Pause, really pause, because you're not watching passively anymore. You're in the story. Ordinary is slipping away. That's what Elon Musk recognizes: a person who is present, unguarded, curious enough to risk, humble enough to be changed. Now, ask yourself honestly, what's the question you'd bring to that meeting, if you had only one shot? What's the fear you'd ask him about, the dream you almost gave up on, the vision that won't leave you alone no matter how often you tell it to be realistic? Maybe you don't have an answer yet. That's perfect. Because those who already have every answer rarely create anything new. Your uncertainty is sacred. It's the best fuel for a meeting that could redraw your map entirely. Let the idea hang in the air. What if this is it? The crossroads. The hinge between wishing and doing, between drifting and deciding. The invitation won't last forever, none ever do. Opportunities aren't lost, they just go to someone else. But tonight, the signal blinked your way, and you said yes by staying. You're here, curious, engaging, awake. That's rarer than you think. And the invitation from Elon Musk? It's still open. Only for the ones ready for what comes after curiosity: action. Take a breath. Slow everything down for a moment. Out there, the world is spinning itself into tomorrow, but right now, you've paused time. You didn't swipe away. You're letting yourself imagine what so many never will, the possibility of a true meeting, a real invitation, that moment when destiny stops feeling like a word and starts feeling like a room you just stepped into. It's almost overwhelming, that sense that things could genuinely change tonight. Not because of luck, or strategy, or some grand plan, but simply because you answered. That's all anyone ever did, anyone who played a part in the big stories you admire, they answered, and they showed up as themselves, mess and all. Now picture yourself at that meeting. See the room again. You step inside, there's no security, no audience, just a sense of clarity, a silence so sharp you wonder if you'll ever hear ordinary noise the same again. Elon stands, smiles in that way you've seen 100 times on thumbnail photos and news clips. But up close, it's different. There's more vulnerability in his eyes. More expectation, too. The first thing he says isn't a pitch, or a test. He just asks, what are you willing to risk? Not what do you want, anyone can want. Not what have you been given, chance will hand you plenty if you're patient. No, what are you risking, and for what? He leans in, waiting, and it hits you, no one has ever actually asked you that before. Pause, let that question settle. What are you willing to risk for the life you say you want? This isn't just some motivational prompt. This is the scar line between fans and founders, between dreamers and doers. Musk didn't gamble with spare change, he put his whole reputation, career, and future on the table. He bet not because he was certain, it was because the pain of not trying was worse than the terror of failing. Now, with his eyes on you, you feel all your easy answers slip away. Suddenly, you see the real cost of playing it safe, the years of quiet, the dreams muted by, not now, the ache of settling because at least it's familiar. But then, a new thought, what would life look like if you risked one uncomfortable step? Not an empire, not an entire fortune, just one conversation, one question you never dared to ask, one door opened before you were ready. Elon is waiting for your answer, but you realize the answer isn't really for him, it's for you. The entire world is built on the stories of people who, for one heartbeat, leaned into the risk and let curiosity outweigh caution. Let's zoom out for a second. All around you, people are letting opportunity wither because it shows up disguised as fear, as inconvenience, as a disappearing message. Most never open the door. They believe chances are for someone else, smarter, richer, luckier, braver. But Musk didn't start out as Musk. He started as a human who stayed curious longer than he stayed comfortable. You're capable of that too. In fact, you're doing it right now. Sit with the difference for a moment. There is you before you listened to this message. And there is you now, a little less resigned, a little more awake, your pulse beating a little faster. This is how change feels in real time. Sometimes it's loud and cinematic, but most often, it's silent, a tiny decision, a mind opened 1 degree further. So, what will you risk, right now? How will you honor the invitation? Maybe you won't have every answer ready. Maybe your idea isn't polished, your confidence isn't bulletproof, your courage comes in nervous waves. That's perfect. That's how deep work always begins, through action, not certainty. At his table, Elon isn't looking for perfect, and he's not handing you blueprints for instant success. He's looking for proof that you're willing to move forward, even before the bridge appears. He's filtering for those unafraid to look naive for the hope of seeing the world a new way. You're not ordinary, and you're definitely not alone. Right now, countless others have already walked away, too unsure, too quick to dismiss the moment. But not you. You're still here. This already sets you apart. What would happen if tonight, you made one move, just a single change, the email you've been afraid to send, the idea you keep sketching but not sharing, the risk you keep carrying in your heart but never quite act on? The difference between a daydream and a new reality is only ever that first step, and the courage to accept that things will never feel ready. Pause, take that in. That hesitation, that tightness in your chest, it's a good sign. It means you care. It means this story is yours. Elon smiles, almost as if he knows. He remembers this feeling too. Before Mars, before billion-dollar valuations, he was just someone willing to look foolish. Someone willing to have a messy first draft of greatness. His invitation to you is real, but it expires when the courage does. So, what's your answer? Will you leave the meeting as another face in the crowd, forgetting what it feels like to even be asked, or will you leave with a story you wish you could start over every day again, just for the thrill of risking it all for your real future? You know which answer will haunt you, and you know which one will change you. The invitation is still yours, for one more section. You're right here, still listening, still considering the impossible. Let that sink in. Most people have already shut the door, told themselves, later, slipped back into autopilot. But you refused. You stayed. Every second you chose presence over distraction, you built proof that something inside you is ready for more. Maybe you feel your heartbeat now. A weird thrill. That is the signal. That's the thing people spend entire lives chasing but rarely find, the difference between watching from the stands and stepping onto the field. It all comes down to the tiniest gesture, the willingness to show up. Let's push the reality. Picture that meeting room one more time. You're about to stand, about to say thanks, probably about to second-guess every word you said. Elon pauses. He doesn't congratulate you, doesn't promise you a shortcut. Instead, he says, the thing that matters is not what you ask or what you know. It's who you decide to become the moment you leave here. Let that echo inside you, because it's true for him, and it's true for you. All the opportunities in the world mean nothing if you shrink away when your name is called. Elon Musk didn't become the man on magazine covers because he had every answer. He became that person because he kept returning to the room after everyone else called it a night, because he made himself available to his own possibility until the world couldn't ignore him anymore. You have the same power. Yes, same bones, same hours in a day, same uncertainty pounding in your head. The door is there for anyone willing to cross it, not because they're certain, but in spite of not being so. Pause, listen to the world right now, wherever you are. The cars outside, the hum of a computer, maybe just your own breath. Imagine how it would feel tomorrow to wake up, knowing you took a step into the unknown for yourself, not for approval, not for applause, but for your own story. Contrast that with the alternative, waking up in the same loops, comfort growing stale, dreams beginning to look childish with each year you shelve them. The price of comfort is carved into every what if you never explore. So what does answering this invitation look like in real life? Not some ridiculous leap, not instant transformation. It looks like breaking inertia. Sending a message, starting a draft, booking a call, telling someone what you actually want for once. It's uncomfortable. It's always uncomfortable, right up until you realize unread invitations never changed anyone's life. The invitation from Elon Musk, this weird, heart-racing, logic-bending signal, was never about a meeting for its own sake. It's not about proximity to brilliance. It's about proximity to your own courage. He's not choosing you because of what you've already done. He's betting on what you might dare when nobody guarantees it'll work. Let's slow down. This is the final pause. The end of the message. The invitation doesn't repeat. Years from now, you may remember this night not as a turning point, but as the moment you discovered how hungry you were to live wide awake, for real stakes. So tonight, after you close this page, after the lights go down and the world moves on, make yourself a promise. Do not let the invitation rot. Do not wake up another day only to bury your spark under business as usual. Tell a friend your crazy dream. Start the thing that scares you. Let someone see what you want. Become someone who isn't waiting for another signal, another message, another sign that you're enough. Because let's be brutally honest. No one will ever stop you from waiting. No one will give you official permission to go. The gap between who you are and who you want to be is flanked on all sides by reasons to pause. The only people who ever cross it are the ones who decide that discomfort, risk, even embarrassment, are cheaper than regret. You can do this, if for nothing else, than to prove to yourself that you're still alive, still curious, still ready. If Elon Musk could stand in front of you, he wouldn't hand you a cheat code. He'd invite you to discover your own, by refusing to be just another face behind glass. He'd tell you, the question isn't, will I ever get another invitation? The question is, when I do, will I answer? Let everything grow still for a final time. The hum of potential in your chest. The door starting to swing shut. The story about to be written by what you do as soon as the room is empty, the message is over, the excuse is loud. What now? It's your turn. All the pieces are in your hands. You are not average, and this was never about luck. It was never about tech, or rocket science, or being chosen out of the blue. It's about presence. Agency. Audacity. All the invisible muscles you've been training every time you whispered, maybe, but never said, yes. As this message ends, as the invitation dissolves, make sure that when someone asks what changed your life, you don't talk about what you watched, but about what you risked. Don't be the audience, be the answer. Tonight, you were personally requested. Answer now, fully, before the world resumes. Pause, let that courage be real. Let the ending echo in your decisions. The room is emptying now. Elon Musk has left. The opportunity hangs in the air one last time. Will you remember the feeling, or will you become the story? Time's up. The meeting is over. But your future is just beginning.